The Bible is a living word that reads us as we read it. It's a person, a voice that proves that time is not linear, as one sentence can confirm the past, guide the present, and declare the future. You are here. I am here. He is here. We are here right now. In the tomorrow of yesterday and in the yesterday of tomorrow, I thank you for joining today. So we're back. Thank you so much for joining once again. In our last episode, we talked about how Moses and his biological brother Aaron made their way to Egypt as God instructed them, and they stood before the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, and demanded release the people of Israel. And Pharaoh wasn't having it. He's just like, I could care less about your God or about you going into the wilderness to worship him. So actually what Pharaoh did was he made the conditions for the Israelites who were enslaved even more brutal. He still had the same level of expectation of them, but he did not give them all of the resources that they needed in order to meet those expectations. And so this created a bitterness really in the hearts of the Israelites because their jobs were made harder, all because Moses opened his mouth, and though he was being obedient and was doing exactly what God told him to do, it put a sour taste in the Israelites' mouth when it came to Moses. And so Moses ran back to God and he's like, listen, what what are you doing? Like, I've been obedient. I talked to Pharaoh. I told him to release the Israelites. And now things are harder for them. And you're not doing anything to rescue them. And God had to put Moses in his place and let him know, like, please be fully aware that I know what I'm doing. So we pick up this episode with the continuation of that conversation between God and Moses. And the Lord told Moses, hey, I need you to go back and tell the people, I am the Lord. I am going to free them and rescue them from slavery. I will redeem them. I'm going to claim them as my own people, and I will be their God. And let them know that I'm going to make sure that they make it to the land that I promised their ancestors, and I'm going to give it to them, and they will know that I am the Lord and I am their God. So I imagine with much resistance, Moses went back and he told the people, but they were less than interested in anything that Moses had to say because they were too worn down and discouraged by the situation around them to be open to receive any kind of hope. And so Moses went back to the Lord, and God told him, go back and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. And I imagine Moses scratched his head and he's like, so I hear you. You are the Lord. I took off my shoes. I understand. You are sovereign and you are powerful. Quick question though. What makes you think that if my own people won't listen to me, that the king of Egypt is going to listen to me? And Moses, at this time, he actually revisited an old insecurity and he brought it up again. He's like, listen, I'm clumsy in my speech. I don't even really be talking all that good for me to be going to talk to Pharaoh. And God's like, this again? Like, okay. So here's what you're going to do. You and Aaron, your brother, who I called to be your helper in this whole situation, I need y'all to go and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. So then Moses protested again, and God let him know once again, and I'm going to make it plain. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. I need you to go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. But understand this, I'm going to make it to where he is going to refuse, and I will use that opportunity to flex on him, and I'm going to show my miracles and my wonders, and the Egyptians are going to know that I am the Lord. Now, I found that very interesting because a lot of the times, especially in my upbringing, this whole command, this commissioning for Moses and Aaron to go and to command Pharaoh to let the people go. And we know about the plagues, or we're about to if we don't, right? I always thought that it was about the Israelites. But here I learned that God was just as interested in the Egyptians knowing that he is the Lord. And that's amazing to me, because it just goes to show that he makes himself available to anyone who will recognize who he is. And so I strongly believe that it wasn't just the Israelites that God wanted to deliver and set free. But anyhow, Moses at 80 years old, his brother Aaron at 83 years old, they went back to Pharaoh and they let him know, our Lord demands that you let our people go. And Pharaoh's like, all right, you so big and bad, your God is so big and bad, making demands of me. So show me something. Show me what he's working with. So Aaron threw down his staff, much like when Moses was at the burning bush. Aaron threw down his staff and it turned into a snake. Now, Pharaoh was not amused. He was not impressed. What he did was he called in his magicians and his sorcerers, and he told them what was going on. And they did the same thing. They threw down their staffs and they also became snakes. But it says that Aaron's snake ate all of their snakes. And this is a big deal. This is a mad flex. And hear me when I say this. Miracles are real. Magic is real. It's a lot of people that aren't going to like that too much. The fact that I would even use this platform to say that. But hear me out. Miracles are real. Magic is real. Miracles are empowered by God, whereas magic wants to imitate the power of God and is fueled by darkness, unclean spirits, the enemy, right? And I want to bring this up, and I really want to take some time with this, because this is a reality that's plaguing our community today. There are a lot of people who are searching for truth, but because there are some poor representatives of the truth, these people will choose instead to dabble in other things in their seeking. Okay. One of those things is this exact thing that I'm talking about: witchcraft, magic, sorcery. I want you to understand, it did not say that these magicians and sorcerers threw down their staffs and they remained staffs. It said they threw down their staffs and they also became snakes. It said they did the same thing. It's also important to note that the power of God is matchless and far more superior. And that's why it is that though these magicians were able to imitate the acts of God, Aaron's staff or snake ate their staffs and snakes. Okay. There may be some things in your life right now that you believe are good and that you believe are from God, but they are in actuality an inferior imitation. They are witchcraft that's dressed up as a miracle. I know this because I've experienced this. I encourage you, if you do not already have a relationship with God, to invite God into a relationship with you. And I invite you, if you do already have a relationship with God, to ask God, both if you have one or if you don't have a relationship, I invite you to ask God to reveal to you what it is that you may not see, to reveal to you what is him and what is not of him, and invite God to devour anything in your life that is not powered by him. Speak to him. He will speak back. I know this to be true. I had a situation in my life. God said straight up, he said, that is the spirit of witchcraft. If you want to continue to entertain that, by all means, go for it. I'm letting you know. And I severed all ties right away. If you don't allow the power of God to devour those things right away, eventually that thing or those things will be able to deceive you into believing that the imitation is the real thing. And that is a dangerous place to be in. So I caution you, one, against playing around with this darkness, these evil spirits, incantations, all of that stuff. It's a very real way to enter into a contract with the enemy. And when you enter into a contract with him and you give him permission to have free reign in your life, you have lost control over a lot of things in your life. So stop playing with this stuff. It's not to be played with. But also, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, because there's still hope in God. There's still hope. And so if you've already dabbled into some things, I just really encourage you, pray and ask God to devour the work of the imitators in your life, okay? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave me a comment. If you don't want it to be public, go to my website, imaginebiblestories.com, and send me a message in the contact page, and I can send you some resources and prayers and things like that, because this is important to me. Okay, so don't be afraid. God's power is more powerful, okay? And we'll stop right there for this episode. If you haven't already gotten your copy of Moses, the Misfit, the Thug, the Called, please grab your copy. Go to imaginebiblestories.com. Get your copy, because we're going to be talking about Moses a lot more here in the coming episodes if God blesses me to record more episodes. And you can actually see in the book why it is that this particular miracle was the magnitude of flex that it was, and why it was a significant insult to the Egyptians and to their lowercase g gods. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave a comment below. You can also go to my website and hit the contact page, and you can message me directly. If you don't have any questions or concerns, but you just want to show some love or some encouragement, please also leave a comment. I want to hear from you all. But anyhow, thank you again. Until next time, bye for now.